Did the IdeaPad Slim 5 get even slimmer? Wait, no. Lighter? This is the IdeaPad Slim 5 Lite and it weighs only 1.24 kilograms, making it perfect for school and work. Also, being a 14-incher, you won't even have to lug around them schoolboy backpacks like a dork. Shut up. Anyways, what you're probably more concerned about is how is the screen. Is the battery good enough to last you a full day, and is it powerful enough for your work? So let's just take a closer look. So this light version Slim 5 only comes with AMD hardware and is actually 200 grams lighter than the Slim 5i. I as in Intel. Now you'd probably expect a laptop as light as this to be mostly plastic, and you'd be half right. The top is a mix of polycarbonate and ABS, but the bottom is actually made of magnesium alloy, the kind of stuff that you see on cameras these days. It comes in only one color, a pretty basic cloud grey, though it has very minimal branding which I like. Build quality is pretty decent with minimal screen wobble, a firm but smooth hinge that passes the one finger opening test, and a keyboard deck that barely flexes, kinda like the laptop itself. For the display, we get a 14-inch matte 1080p IPS panel with a peak brightness of 300 nits, so it should be plenty bright for most environments except for the great outdoors under direct sun, though the color accuracy is a little sus at only 61% sRGB, so I really wouldn't trust this screen for color crucial work like photo and video editing. However, I must say that most of us creatives will probably prefer a laptop with a discrete GPU, so there's that. Basically, the screen is good enough for work, but not the laptop's brightest moment. Get it? For audio, we get a pair of 1.5 watt upward firing speakers that are optimized for Dolby Audio. Why not 2 watts like their other laptops? Don't know. But they are mid, as in all mid, with barely any bass or treble. Also, it doesn't get very loud. Again, serviceable for work, but nothing to shout about. I mean, just listen for yourself. The keyboard, on the other hand, is actually pretty nice with a full-size layout for the keys except for the tiny little arrow keys, but you ain't gonna be gaming on this thing anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Them key switches are very quiet, so they won't annoy your colleagues, bummer. Also, they have a fair amount of travel, so they are very comfortable to type with for longer periods of time, very good for work. And touching on the subject of work, the touchpad is actually quite large given the size of the laptop. It tracks well, feels pretty smooth, though the buttons themselves are a little ratchet. As far as connectivity is concerned, this laptop comes with 3 USB 3.2 Gen 1 ports, 2 Type A's and 1 Type C that supports both power delivery and display. We also get Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.1, a card reader, as well as an audio jack, which are all very good to have for school and work. The only odd thing here is that ancient HDMI 1.4 port that only does 4K up to 30 Hz. I mean, we already have a USB-C port that does display. You can just remove the HDMI 1.4 port and give us another USB port, which we can never have too many of. And if you really need HDMI, you can always get an adapter for the USB-C port and get better HDMI. So this IdeaPad Slim 5 Lite comes with a Ryzen 7 7730U with 8 cores and 16 threads, 16GB of DDR4 memory, and a single 512GB PCIe Gen 3 M.2 SSD for a pretty affordable price of 3,299 ringgit or around $700 US. You could swap out that M.2 drive for a higher capacity one. 1 to 2 terabytes would be a sweet spot for you to not have to carry an external external drive, but the RAM modules are actually soldered, so you're kind of stuck with 16 gigabytes. I mean, they're actually dual channel, which is yay, but they're not the fastest at 3200 megahertz. Honestly, we could stare at spec sheets all day, but numbers don't lie, so let's just take a look at the benchmarks. Starting off with productivity benchmarks, looking at Cinebench, you'll see that the 8-core 16-threaded Ryzen 7 here is very competent, even for a U-series processor that is meant for thin and light laptops. It's a Zen 3 chip, much like the 7735HS that we checked out a while back, and performs similarly in single core, but around 25% worse in multi-core. Aputure bench tests show us that this laptop is going to be great for Photoshop despite the mediocre screen, but I wouldn't use it to edit videos in Premiere Pro or color grade in Resolve. Some super light 3D work is also probably okay, but again, get a laptop with a discrete GPU if you're a creative professional. We also ran some gaming benchmarks in case there are some of you, rebels, who insist on gaming with this thing. Look, you can probably play some Valorant just fine, or older titles like Shadow of Tomb Raider at low settings, maybe even Diablo 4 if you turn on FSR. But you ain't playing AAA titles like Starfield or Cyberpunk in anything but cinematic frame rates, no matter how much FSR seems to help. Parents might actually like this laptop even more if they want a kid that is all work and no play. I mean, they won't be as fun but they won't be pulling noobs when they should be cramming books. Check out the links in the description and buy one for your boy or girl before you send them off to college. You're welcome. What else? Oh, the webcam. So what we have here is a 1080p webcam with a physical privacy shutter that is especially handy for your girl. It actually looks surprisingly good for calls and even streaming. This is how the webcam looks and sounds like. Sampaikan pada jiwa yang bersedih, begitu dingin dunia yang kau huni. Jika tak ada tempatmu kembali, bawa lukamu biar aku obati. Finally, let's talk about battery life, thermals, and acoustics. So with the laptop set to Windows balanced power mode and the screen at 50% brightness, we got around 8 hours and 10 minutes of video playback and 11 hours and 20 minutes of web surfing, which is very impressive considering the battery here is only rated at 47 watt hours. There's even a larger 56 watt hour battery that should squeeze out another 20% more battery life, but this is the model that we get here in Malaysia. I speculate that it's probably thanks to that Zen 3 chip that has a base TDP of 15 watts, which is very power efficient. The included 65 watt USB-C charger is also pretty portable. I see now why they have the HDMI port. So if you're using this laptop in uni or office where the monitors and projectors are less than, say, young, they probably don't come with USB-C ports with display output and stuff like that. So you will probably need that HDMI port if you want to keep your laptop charging with the adapter in the only USB-C port we have here. Of course, we also stress tested this laptop for both gaming and productivity workloads in all three smart power settings that you get in the Lenovo Vantage software. With AIDA64 fully loading that Ryzen 7, the laptop ran hottest with the extreme performance mode, with the CPU hitting 90 degrees Celsius and the bottom of the laptop reaching a slightly uncomfortable 46 degrees Celsius, though the keyboard and touchpad remained pretty cool. I recommend only switching on extreme performance when you're working on a surface and sticking to intelligent cooling or battery saving when you have the laptop on your laptop. For gaming, temps are much more reasonable across all three settings, but like I said, you can only casually game on this laptop anyways. What is impressive, however, is that the laptop stayed very quiet except when we set it on extreme performance, but it would only be audible during longer load periods. To recap, here are the pros, mehs, and cons of the Lenovo IdeaPad Slim 5 Lite. I give this laptop a hashtag cheap buy, lighter than my water bottle. 8 out of 10. So what's the verdict? Okay, let me put it this way. When we're out and about for school and work, we don't need a laptop that can do everything. A work laptop is like a colleague or PA, not your wife. It needs to help us take notes for lectures or meetings, read documents, work Excels, watch a few videos for research and not die by the end of the day. At a pretty affordable 3,299 ringgit or around 700 US dollars, this laptop can do all that. And it can even fit into a more stylish tote or messenger bag or whatever you kids carry these days. The only thing that I would change would be that screen. In fact, I would pay another 1 to 200 ringgit to get a better screen, but hey, that's just me with my OCD amateur colorist eyes. You might not mind this as much. And that is everything I have to say about the Lenovo IdeaPad Slim 5 Lite. What a mouthful. If you thought this video was helpful, don't forget to like and share. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions regarding this laptop. We actually did a few other tests that we didn't publish in this video because I thought that it wasn't that relevant, but you could ask about it and I would answer. Also, I would really appreciate it if you check out the links in the description if you're actually interested in picking up one of these laptops, because it will support us to make more content like this. And subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to see more content like this. And also follow us on Facebook, TikTok and Instagram to see more shenanigans from the Mob House crew. Again, my name is Bangsawan Shane and I will see you in the next one.